the most powerful move you can make. There comes a moment when you realize you've been playing someone else's game, chasing, proving, reacting. And the more you do, the more power you give away. But what if I told you there's a way to take that power back? A way to shift the dynamic without saying a word? This isn't about manipulation. It's about self-respect. It's about control. Because the truth is, the most powerful people in any area of life, business, relationships, success, never waste energy on those who test them. They don't beg for attention. They don't seek validation. Instead, they master the one response that changes everything: silence. If you're here, it means you're ready to break the cycle, to stop reacting and start leading. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why silence is the ultimate power move. Before we dive in, take a second, like, subscribe, and drop a comment. I choose silence. Let it be a commitment to yourself. Now let's get into it. Why silence works. Every day, people fall into the same trap. Someone they care about pulls away, and suddenly their entire focus shifts. They check their phone obsessively, analyze every word, every pause, every moment of silence, until they do exactly what's expected of them. They react. And that's the problem. Modern relationships and power dynamics operate on one simple truth. The one who reacts first loses control. The moment you chase, you lower your value. The second you show how much their absence affects you, you hand them all the leverage. But the most confident, self-assured people, they don't play that game. They don't engage in emotional tug-of-war. They don't respond to manipulation. Instead, they do something much more powerful. They go silent, calculated, intentional, controlled. And that silence speaks louder than any reaction ever could. At the end of the day, this isn't just about one person, one situation, or one relationship. It's about how you carry yourself in every aspect of life. Those who control their reactions control the outcome. So next time someone pulls away, tests you, or tries to get a reaction, remember this: you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to chase. You don't need to respond. Because silence isn't just the absence of words. It's a statement, a decision, a power move. Make your next move the right one. The one thing she never expected. She's waiting, watching, testing. At first, everything seemed effortless. Consistent messages, plans being made, a sense of connection. Then suddenly she pulls back. Replies get slower, conversations feel colder. She's busy now, unavailable, but she's still there, lingering, watching your stories, dropping hints, making sure you see her out, looking good, having fun. And that's the trap. She's not just pulling away, she's waiting for you to react, waiting to see if you'll break. The second you reach out, the moment you ask, "Is everything okay?" she wins. Because now she knows she still has control. She knows you haven't moved on. And that means she can keep testing, keep playing, keep seeing how much you'll tolerate before you crack. Why most men fail this test? This is where most men lose. They panic. They overthink every conversation, replaying what went wrong. They check their phone constantly, waiting for a message that never comes. And then, desperate to fix things, they reach out. They double text. They ask if she's upset. They apologize for things they didn't even do. And the moment she sees that, the moment she realizes how much she still affects you, the game is over, but not the way you hoped. She doesn't respect this. She expects it. And the second she sees it, she loses interest. A woman only plays these games with a man she hasn't fully decided on, a man she's still testing, a man she doesn't completely respect. And if you react the way she expects, you prove her right. You show her that her validation is your lifeline, that without her attention you start to crumble, and that's when she's gone for good. The power of doing nothing. But what happens when you don't react, when you don't ask what's wrong, when you don't double text, when you don't chase, when you let her absence mean nothing? That's when everything shifts. because now, for the first time, she starts to feel it. And that feeling? It's doubt. Doubt in her assumptions about you. Doubt in whether she really had you figured out. Doubt in whether pulling away was a mistake. And that doubt does something powerful. It makes her question everything. Did I misjudge him? Is he actually moving on? Did I just lose a man who was worth keeping? And that's the moment she wants back in. But here's the truth. By the time she realizes this, it's already too late. Because the man she was testing no longer exists. The version of you that would have chased, that would have crumbled under pressure, that man is gone. And what's left? A man she can't control. A man who doesn't seek validation. A man who understands his worth. And that is the one thing she never expected. The silent shift in power control isn't taken, it's given away. Every time you chase, explain yourself, or seek validation, you hand over your power. And she expects that. She expects you to react, to reach out, to prove that she still matters. But what happens when you don't? That's when everything changes. She was confident that you'd be the one checking your phone, waiting for her message. She assumed you'd overanalyze her silence, just like so many before you. But instead, it's her mind that starts racing. Now she's the one checking, scrolling through old messages, wondering when she lost her grip on you. She may act unbothered, posting pictures, staying busy, making sure you see that she's fine without you. But beneath it all, she's waiting. Waiting for proof that she still has control. And when that proof never comes, that's when the doubt creeps in. The trap most men fall into. Eventually she'll test the waters. A simple message. Nothing too obvious. Hey, hope you're doing well. It's not an apology. It's not an admission that she was wrong. It's a probe, a way to see if you're still there. And this is where most men fail. They see the message and assume she's had a revelation that she realizes what she lost. They respond instantly, trying to pick up where things left off. And the moment she sees that fast reply, she knows she was never at risk of losing you. And just like that, she disappears again, because it was never about wanting you back. It was about confirming she could. Why true power is in silence. If someone truly values you, they won't send a vague message just to test the waters. They'll make it clear. They'll show up differently. Until then, the only response is silence, because silence creates uncertainty. And uncertainty makes her question everything, the inevitable realization. But here's what she never considered. By the time she's ready to put in real effort, you've already moved on. Because in her absence, you didn't just wait. You built. You elevated your mindset, your confidence, your life. You stopped needing her validation. And now, when she finally decides she's ready, it no longer matters. Because the man she thought she could come back to, that man no longer exists. And that's the moment she realizes she wasn't just testing you, she was losing you, the moment everything changes. She was sure of one thing, you'd always be there. No matter how long she ignored you, no matter how many tests she threw at you, she believed you'd wait. She assumed you'd linger, checking your phone, hoping for a sign that she still cared. But now, something feels different. The silence isn't just quiet, it's unsettling. At first, it's just a passing thought. Why hasn't he reached out? A flicker of curiosity. Then that flicker turns into tension. Has he moved on? And before she knows it, that tension becomes something even stronger. Fear. Fear that she miscalculated. Fear that she lost control. Fear that she just let go of something valuable without even realizing it. Because in her mind, men are supposed to be predictable. If she pulls back, you're supposed to chase. If she creates distance, you're supposed to close the gap. If she withholds her attention, you're supposed to fight for it. But you didn't. You stayed silent. You removed your presence completely. You gave her something she never expected, uncertainty. And uncertainty is the most powerful force in the world. Now she's the one searching for answers. Uncertainty drives people crazy. It's why people can't resist checking their phones for a response. It's why cliffhangers in movies keep audiences hooked. It's why the unknown is more terrifying than the truth itself. And now she's caught in it. She starts watching your social media obsessively, checking to see if you're online, scanning for changes, looking for clues. She may not like your posts, but she's paying attention. She may not text, but she's thinking. And the longer your silence continues, the deeper the doubt cuts into her confidence. The same friends who told her, "He'll come back," they always do, are starting to wonder too, because the longer you go without reacting, the more undeniable it becomes. You don't need her anymore, and that terrifies her. The mistake that weak men make this is where she starts testing the waters, not with a real apology, not with a direct admission that she was wrong. Instead, it's small things, subtle signals. She might like an old picture, send a casual text, comment on something random, maybe even accidentally send a message meant for someone else, just to see if you'll take the bait. And the weak man does. He sees the breadcrumb and pounces. He thinks, this is it. She finally realizes what she lost. And the moment he reacts, the moment he shows he's still waiting, she disappears again because she wasn't coming back. She just needed to know she still could. She wanted to prove to herself that she still had control. And now that she has her answer, she doesn't need to chase you because she knows you're still an option. Why the only response is no response. Watching isn't chasing. Liking isn't regretting. Texting isn't valuing. A woman who truly regrets losing you doesn't drop breadcrumbs. She makes it clear. She doesn't send a lazy hey. She says, "I made a mistake." She doesn't just like your post. She tells you, "I miss you." She doesn't wait for you to reply. She fights for your attention. And until that happens, silence. Because silence keeps her questioning, and questioning is what makes her chase. But here's the best part. By the time she's finally ready to admit she was wrong, by the time she gathers the courage to reach out, to say what she should have said from the start, it won't matter. Because while she was doubting herself, searching for answers, replaying every moment in her head, trying to figure out where she went wrong, you were building. You were hitting the gym, working on your goals, elevating every part of your life. You weren't sitting around waiting for her to decide if you were worthy of her time. You had already become untouchable, and that's her biggest regret. Not just losing you. Losing the version of you she never even got to meet. The moment she realizes she's losing you, it always happens the same way. At first, she's confident. She thinks she's in control, that she has all the time in the world. She assumes you'll always be there, waiting, hoping, lingering, ready to chase her at the first sign that she might still care. So, she pulls back, creates distance, stops responding like she used to, and she expects you to react. She expects you to overthink, to double text, to check your phone obsessively. She expects you to panic, to try to fix things, to prove to her that she still matters. That's how it's always worked. That's what every guy before you has done. But then, something happens that she never saw coming. You don't react, you don't chase, you don't play her game. And that's when everything starts to shift. Her first move, testing the waters. At first, she tells herself it's nothing. Maybe you're just busy, maybe you're playing hard to get. But the longer your silence stretches, the more the doubt creeps in. The absence of your attention starts to feel real. And what happens when people lose something they thought they could always come back to? They panic. But she won't admit it outright. She won't call you crying. She won't send a long, emotional message apologizing for the way she treated you. That would mean admitting she lost. Instead, she tests you. Maybe she watches your stories again. Maybe she likes an old picture. Maybe she sends a vague text, something casual, something safe. Hey, hope you're doing well. Just saw something that reminded me of you. It's not direct, it's not obvious, but it's a test. She wants to see if you'll bite. She wants to know if you're still emotionally available, if she still has control. And the weak man? He takes the bait. He sees the message, his heart jumps, and he instantly replies. He thinks, this is it. She finally realizes she wants me back. But the second she sees how quickly he responds, she knows the truth. She never actually lost him. And just like that, she disappears again. Because it was never about missing him. It was about checking if she still had power over him. The moment she realizes she's losing. But what happens when you don't react? When you leave her on red? When you don't acknowledge her breadcrumbs? When you refuse to give her the validation she's fishing for? That's when the real panic sets in. Now she has no answer. Now she truly feels the loss. Now she doesn't know if you're gone for good, so she tries again. This time, she increases the intensity. Maybe she sends another message, longer, more personal. Maybe she brings up a memory, something she knows will hit emotionally. Maybe she makes an indirect post designed to get a reaction. And if none of that works, she escalates. She starts talking to other guys, making sure you see it. She does whatever she can to trigger a response, to force you to react, to make you prove that you still care. Because a reaction means she still has influence over you. A reaction means she can still pull you back in. But here's where you win. You don't react, you don't reply, you don't play her game. Because you already know the truth. This was never about fixing things. It's not about her valuing you. It's not about her wanting to make things right. It's about her ego. It's about her need for validation. It's about her fear of losing control. And that's something you will never give her again. Because the moment you stop being her emotional safety net, the moment she truly feels like she lost you, the moment she realizes she can't just pull you back whenever she wants, she has to make a decision. Does she fight for you or does she walk away? And here's the harsh truth. If she was never truly invested in you, she'll walk away and never come back because she was never actually yours. She just liked knowing she could have you. But if she genuinely regrets losing you, if she realizes she made a mistake, if she understands she let a valuable man slip through her fingers, she won't drop breadcrumbs, she won't send vague texts, she won't play games, she will show up. She will make it clear that she regrets it. She will tell you outright that she was wrong. She will fight for your attention the way you once fought for hers. And when that happens, you have the power. You decide if she's worth letting back in. You decide if she's earned another chance. You decide if you even want her in your life anymore. But by then, it might be too late. Because by the time she's desperate enough to finally prove herself to you, you will have already moved on. You will have built your confidence. You will have leveled up in every way. You will have become the man she was searching for all along. But by the time she realizes it, you're already gone. And that's what true power looks like. That's what real self-respect is. And that's why she will never, ever forget you. Mastering emotional detachment. The ultimate shift in power. Most men spend their lives trapped in their emotions, trapped in seeking approval, trapped in a cycle of constantly reacting instead of leading. But the men who break free, the men who take control of their lives, they master one thing. emotional detachment. The ability to walk away without fear, the strength to stop seeking validation, the mindset that makes you immune to manipulation. Because the truth is, the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop trying to prove your worth to someone who took you for granted, everything changes. Why emotional detachment is the key to power. A man who is emotionally weak will always be controlled. A man who constantly seeks approval will always be at someone else's mercy. A man who begs for attention will never be respected. But a man who is detached, a man who controls his emotions, a man who refuses to play by anyone else's rules, that's the man who stands out. That's the man who commands attention without asking for it. That's the man she regrets losing, because the moment you stop needing her validation, you become a challenge. You become rare. You become the one she can't stop thinking about. Not the man who begged for another chance. Not the man who kept checking his phone, hoping for a response. Not the man who let his emotions control him, but the man who walked away and never looked back. Emotional detachment isn't about playing games, it's about freedom. When you master detachment, everything changes, not just in relationships, but in life. You stop being an option and start being a priority. You stop reacting to others and start leading. You stop waiting for someone else's approval and start living on your terms. And the world notices. People start treating you differently. They respect you more. They value you more. They don't want to lose you because they know you're not afraid to walk away. Because in a world full of people desperate for attention, validation, and approval, you stand alone. And that makes you untouchable. The final shift, becoming the man you were meant to be. This isn't just about her. This isn't just about relationships. This is about power. The power to control your emotions. The power to decide who has access to your energy. The power to live life on your own terms, without fear, without desperation, without needing validation from anyone. And when you reach that level, by the time she realizes what she lost, by the time she finally wants to chase you, by the time she's ready to do everything you once did for her, you won't even care anymore, because the real victory was never about winning her back. The real victory was the man you became when you let go. Take control. Now is tool. If you're ready to stop chasing, if you're ready to take full control of your life, if you're ready to become the man you were always meant to be, subscribe now. Support this channel, because every video you watch, every lesson you learn, every mindset shift you make takes you one step closer to your ultimate power. And before you go, make it real. Write it. Say it. Own it. I am untouchable. Because from this moment forward, that's exactly who you are.